Hey. So welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. This is the first video of mine that you're seeing. Today we are going to be going through this gigantic stack of books that are all leaving my apartment. And the reason for that is I am also leaving my apartment because I'm moving in a couple weeks. So me and the cats are leaving this apartment in a couple of weeks, moving into a little house with my best friends. So I'm really excited about moving because moving means I get to reconfigure my bookshelves, and I get to make a video about reorganizing them, and I'm so excited. But because I have a bunch of books that I've been meaning to get rid of, I don't want to bring them with me to my new house, so I'm going to be getting rid of them. And I figured I would just go through them today and show you the ones that are getting a new home. It's a pretty big stack, so let's get started. The first books that I'm unhauling are the first two books in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. I read this one. It was really hard to get through because of how big it is, and then also the pacing was weird. It probably didn't need to be this long, but I didn't love it. But then I picked up this one because my friend was like, oh, there's a really big twist at the end, and you should really read it. And I was like, yeah, okay, totally. But then I never did. And that was I got this basically when the paperback came out, and I've never had the urge to pick it up, and I really just don't want to. Next, I have Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This one I really want to read, but I bought it for myself. This one I really want to read, but I bought it for myself, and then a couple weeks later my friend got it for me. So I just decided to keep the copy she got me instead. Next, I have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This is one that I've tried reading multiple times and just can't get into, and it's not for me, and it's definitely going to be for someone else because it's very popular. Next, I have A Discovery of Witches, another one that I started it and I listened to the audiobook and I was reading it, and I think I got 100 something pages in, and I was like, I just can't do this anymore. This one, it's a very interesting concept, but for me, I just felt the plot was very not connected. It felt like every chapter was just its own little contained story, and then we moved on to something else very abruptly. So I just wasn't into it. Next, I have 1,000 Heartbeats. This is a book that my best friend got me, so sorry to her. It's a young adult book, and I've tried reading it, and I just don't think that I'll be interested in it. Next, I have Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I really want to read some Brandon Sanderson, but I don't think that this will be a good one for me to start with because I have tried reading it multiple times and have never gotten into it. So maybe in the future I read Brandon Sanderson and I absolutely love it, but he's got 30 books, so I don't think I'll ever need to come back to that. Next, I have Crown of Feathers. This is one that seemed really interesting, and I really want to read it because I've never heard a lot of people talk about it, but it's highly reviewed, or highly rated. But like I said, there's just so many books on this list that I just tried reading, couldn't get into, and decided that I'd rather spend my time reading something else. Next, I have The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. I think I'm unhauling a lot of firsts in series that I realize I don't want to read, and then I also don't really want to commit to reading the entire series. The next book that I have that I'm getting rid of is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This one was rough for me because I've loved everything else that I've read by Marissa Meyer, and I've read all of her other series and projects, but this is a big book. It's sci-fi. It's a little bit different than what I normally read. It's young adult, and I'm a little past my young adult stage, so I just don't think that it's gonna be for me ever. Next, I'm unhauling the entirety of the An Ember in the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir. I really liked this series. I read the first 3 books back in high school, and I loved them. But then I think the last book took a little bit to come out. So then by the time I picked up that last book, I was like, oh, I should reread the series to get back into it. And I reread like the first book, I think twice before I tried to read the second one, and I was like, I'm so done with this reread. I don't want to reread it, and I don't actually care about what's going to happen at the end, which sucks because I was obsessed with the series when I first read it, but it is what it is. And lastly, I'm going to be unhauling the 2 books in the, like, I think Stolen Air duology by Holly Black. I read the first one, The Stolen Air, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. Definitely not as much as the original trilogy from The Cruel Prince. And then I started picking this one up, and I realized I didn't really know anything that was going on, so I read a summary of this one, and then I was still confused. So I just don't think I'm going to go with it. But someone else will really like them. So those are the books that I'm going to be unhauling before I move. And I'm probably going to bring them to like little free libraries or donate them to like women's shelters or like Goodwill or something like that. So that is my plan of what I'm doing with these books. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.